What's going on, guys? BP Custom Knives out here in the shop, coming at you with another quick YouTube video. This one is going to be about Kydex retention. So I got a messy counter back there. Let me clean that up and let's get to the video. Okay, so Kydex retention. I've showed you guys in my story on Instagram before. I'm just going to show you guys again real quick. So if I get any questions in the future, I'm going to send you guys the link to this and you'll be able to watch it and hopefully it helps. But I see a lot of people on Instagram, a lot of knife makers put out sheaths that are subpar. They don't have good retention, and that's really, makes a big difference. When people buy a knife and they're expecting it to work properly, that's one thing. Yeah, you can make a good knife, but how about your sheath? If your sheath isn't really quality and doesn't function effortlessly and hassle-free, then it's overall not as great as a package as it can be. So I want to make this video because I want to help other makers. So this is what I do. This is how I do it. So if your knife has this front part of the scales where it swoops down like that, that's the key. If you don't have that, you're gonna have to figure out a different way than what I'm showing you here to get your retention. But all of my knives have that front swoop just because that's just the way I make knives. So with that being said, I think a lot of people also do that as well. I'm not the only one. I think it's very common. So this should be able to work for most people. Another thing to note is you see that bumpy finish right here on the scales. Besides them being dirty, there's this finish here that comes from the heat of the Kydex imprinting into those scales. So I'll have to go back and sand that and repolish it. Not a big deal though. Anyway, see this corner right here? This corner is the corner that the Kydex snaps over. So I'm gonna insert the knife here, and this is without eyelets. Let me zoom in for you. You can see the Kydex is now making contact right here. Now, in order for the knife to get in the sheath, the Kydex has to spread open and snap over this corner. So you can see me do that here. I'm gonna push in. You can see it starting to open up the sheath, and then it snaps shut, right? So in order for you to check what the Kydex retention is gonna be like before you make it permanent and install your eyelets, you're gonna want to pinch the sheath right here with your fingers where your first eyelet is gonna be installed. You don't need to worry about this part right here. None of your retention, all your retention is gonna come from this part right here. And by the way, this also works for the pancake style sheath as well. And the pancake style sheath also has rivets over the top, and you need to also make sure you're placing that eyelet in a spot where it's gonna provide enough retention as well. And maybe I'll make a video on that style sheath next time I make one. But for now, I like these style sheaths, so I'm gonna continue making these for a while. So anyway, to check your retention and what it's gonna feel like before you install your eyelets, pinch the Kydex right here, and that'll give you that'll give you the feel as if an eyelet is installed and it's not gonna come apart when you're trying to put your knife through. So put your knife in, pinch it, and push. You can hear that snap right there. So that wasn't too hard, wasn't too soft, and I think that's pretty perfect. Perfect retention. So I know this retention is gonna be good. Now all I have to do is finish the edges and install my eyelets, and we're good to go, guaranteed. If you find yourself having to use a lighter or some type of heat to adjust your retention, you're not doing it right, and that can be avoided. And then that's pretty much it. I used to make sheaths and I was not paying attention. Nobody really told me how to do this. This is something I found out. I haven't seen a lot of YouTube videos explaining exactly what I'm talking about here, so hopefully this helps a lot of people. I see a lot of videos how to make a Kydex sheath, but it was always a mystery to me where the retention is coming from. I don't think I've seen a video that really explains well exactly where the retention is coming from. So that's why I'm making this video. I used to pay attention to the Kydex snapping over the ricasso of the knife right here. So it'd snap over that, and that can work too. One thing, it doesn't work as well. The second thing is that corner right there is digging into your Kydex, and you're going to be pulling out little shavings of Kydex every time you pull your knife in and out of the sheath. So that's going to make your sheath a consumable. over time the sheath is not going to hold as well, and also you're going to have to replace your sheath after so many times of pulling that thing in and out. When you're making it like this, your Kydex is not, it's not coming in contact with the metal right there, because it's basically snapping over this part, and it's spreading the Kydex over that and then snapping shut. So you're not pulling out any shavings, you're not wearing out the Kydex. So doing it this way, your sheath should last the lifetime of the knife. You shouldn't have to replace your sheath when it's made correctly. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna finish up all these sheaths real quick, finish up the knives, and I'll show you guys how they are when they're completed. Real quick here, I'm sure a couple of you are wondering why I have this Puko drawing in the background there, and that's just to show you that this one, a knife like this cannot be applied to this video since it does not have that little finger choil area. So there's other ways to do that. That's for a whole nother video or somebody else to make, because I don't make this style knife, but people do achieve retention by using flared pins, and the Kydex kind of sits in that divot there. But don't worry about this. This video only applies to the knives that have that finger choil. So let's move on. All right guys, here we go. I got all the knives finished up, and they're all ready to go. Let me show you guys the way the sheaths came out. Up first, we have the Happy Camper right here. Deploys easily. Got a little bit of grease on the blade, but no big deal, just disregard that. Sheath came out really nice, but we're here to check the retention, so let's go ahead and do that. Perfect snap in, perfect snap out, perfect snap in. Perfect, that's the way to do it right there. We've got the Wasp right here. This is in Jade, a G10. Sheath came out nice. Retention check. Pops off really nicely. Nice clean blade there. And snaps back in. This is the Mini Poon. Sheath came out nice. Scales are high polish finish, but with that grease on there, it gives it a little bit of a sheen. Doesn't look too good with that grease. Just go ahead and ignore that. Retention check. Pops off. Nice clean blade there, false edge. We got some jimping on top, and then some file work. Sheath pops right back on. Perfect. And then we have the Woodchuck. This is the beast. This is in OD green. Pops off with ease. We left the heat treated flats there and a belt finish on the bevels. Looking good. Love this design. Nice big beefy knife right here. And then sheath snaps in, no rattling, no play. Pops off, pops on. There we go guys, that's how you do it. So I hope you learned a little bit about retention, and I hope you guys can make some improvements if needed. We're all on the quest to make our knives as nice as possible, and having a good sheath is a really important factor. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you learned something. Go ahead and subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and as always, peace.